All right, welcome into Big Hitters Only. It is Thursday, March 26th at 1:50 p.m. in the afternoon. We have Julian returning for his first podcast, Big Hitter podcast of the season. We have Mike Hardison returning off his big showing in his last podcast. A lot of viral action off that one. Big Hitters Only, sponsored by Rhoback, rhoback.com. Big Hitters 20 at checkout. I think Mike has a Rhoback on there.
Yeah, got it right here.
No,
Hardison.
oh, not a Rhoback. There you go. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, Julian Council, big Rhoback guy. Check out Rhoback polos, vests, great hoodies, all their gear, men's and women's stuff. Big Hitters 20, Big Hitters 20 on Rhoback. All right, guys. Man, what a last couple days. Mike, just like, what are you thinking about right now? What are you reading? How are you feeling? UNC essentially fires Hubert Davis, and we have a coaching search on our hands here in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird because I feel a little bit of optimism, to be frank, and I feel like we have not had kind of an optimistic vibe in quite a while. Maybe that is foolhardy and naive, especially given how the Belichick coaching search went. I specifically remember the three of us were talking about the football coaching search, I think the last time all three of us were on. I don't think we were all too pleased with how that turned out. But, you know, was I happy in the execution and how the firing went down? Not really. Like, I think it was a little too slow, but the end result was what I think needed to happen. I thought they were slow on it. I thought they kind of let him, kind of languish out there for a while. They kept the assistant coaches in the dark, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's the result that will be remembered, and we moved on. And I think it was it was necessary in my view.
How would you have rather have done it?
I think you pull the Band-Aid off, right? Like we all knew
unethically.
No, I mean, like I think it was unethical what they did, right? Like, we all knew Sunday night that he wasn't going to be the coach any longer. Like national media knew his future's in doubt, right? And we just kind of kept stringing it along. It just feels like every time that this athletic department can pull the Band-Aid off, even if they know they have to do it, it's just a slow peel. And it's just like, hey, like, we all know the end result. But
I feel like they almost gave a shot. Here, I'll let you keep going. They almost gave a shot for, like, Larry Brown and all these, like, people to start tweeting things out and for them to gain support. I was like, all right, Justin Jackson tweet. I saw Cam Johnson videos. Like, all right, is he gaining support with former players? It's like, dude, don't let this happen.
There's a fine line between stakeholder management and letting everyone have a voice at the table. And I feel like they have not figured that out yet. They're the leadership. They're the ones that make the call. You take input, but you don't give everyone days and days and days to kind of rally their troops and get everyone's opinion in. So I think they messed up there, but I think we did get the result that was probably inevitable.
Yeah. I don't think it was ever going to be clean, honestly, because like there's so much emotion into this decision for obviously the administration. I mean, for Hubert, that guy who's bled, he's sweated, he's cried over this program. So if anyone really thought he was going to take a step back, I don't really care what's been said about he never wanted the job or not. I mean, once you're in it and you still feel like you can help get Carolina in the right direction, and I never felt like he was just going to willingly step down. He was going to have to be removed, just like with Mac. Hell, look back at Mac's tenure at Texas. What made anyone think that it was going to be clean for Mac Brown to decide, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go willingly and not going to fight and try to rally booster support? The problem was with Hubert, he didn't have any booster support, but he did have the family, and obviously their opinions is why the stadium arena deal is still not finalized when very obviously Carolina North is where it should go. Like, I don't really care either way. They want to play Carolina North. They want to play Odom Village. They want to stay at the Dean Dome and renovate. Do whatever. Just get a good damn basketball program. I'm pretty sick. And this is honestly the first time I've done a basketball show with you guys on this pod because, honestly, man, I don't really have a lot of positive things to say about Carolina basketball since, they lost to Auburn in 2019. It's all been just complete shit. My formative years watching Carolina athletics was the early to mid 2000s, and that 05-09 run, that is my standard. No, I do not expect him to go to the Final Four and win a national championship every single year, but I do expect him to compete for an ACC title every single year. I do expect him to be in the second weekend every single year and then see where the chips fall. I expect him to have great talent. I don't think we should be freaking out because Caleb Wilson is spectacular. We should have those guys every fucking year, just like Duke does. So, for me, I'm I just keep my mouth shut a lot of times because I'm gonna let people enjoy it. I just know that the standard has not been met. I wasn't going to set up here anywhere and pretend like, oh yeah, we had two guys, maybe three. I'll say three. Three guys who should have been wearing that uniform this past year. Caleb Wilson, Henry Vessar, and Seth Trimble. The rest of those dudes have no business playing for North Carolina.
Tell us how you really feel.
Dude, I agree with the standard. Like, people, I don't know why people are coming out and defend. Like, the Hubert defenders, I could never understand. And kind of after that West Coast run, I was like, man, this is not working. It's not going to work. He's just not the right coach. He can't. He lacked. I mean, we don't have to harp on Hubert too much because we kind of moved on from that as a podcast because we've done a bunch of other things since then. But like,
yeah.
He can't fundraise. The in-game coaching is suspect. There's lack of consistency in offense and defense. There's no identity to the team. He sucks in press conferences and with messaging. He's not like a good marketer of the program. Like, so what exactly do you do here? Like, what are you do? I mean, I guess he could take the kids to church, and he's a strong role model to build human beings, but that's not what I look for in a coach, man. I want a killer.
One thing I would say this one thing, Ross, about like in-game. Obviously, the last game he did not manage it properly as far as the substitution patterns. I personally don't want to hear excuses about substitutions. I mean, hell, the Iron Five, how often did those guys sub out and they went to the Final Four? So, like, now we want to care about how many guys are playing minutes. Like, yeah, he should have done a better job. I do think there's plenty of times you can point to where he's drawn up some plays that have worked out to Carolina's favor. I think about Bogovac. They've run the same freaking action for Caleb against UCLA to put them up to win that game. They did it with Wake last year of RJ. They did it with Luke. It's been the same action. So I think in game he does call some good plays. But obviously the recruiting of talent, the development of talent's been lacking. The alumni and booster relations, like there's a lot of things that he did wrong. The only thing I would have said, I didn't want him to be the head coach in the first place. I was always a Wes Miller guy. I still believe had Wes gotten the job, he'd have done a much better job than Hubert, as we saw from the decade he spent at UNCG. The only thing I'll say as far as Hubert, did they give him everything for him to be successful? And I think after the $14 million came out for the roster last year, that was them basically saying, hey, this is everything you needed. But when you hire a coach with no experience, I mean, do you really think after 5 years you're going to know whether he's the right guy or not? I mean, that's my only thing. So maybe he could have figured it out in the end, but obviously for a program of this stature, you can only wait so long.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is like it's so difficult to try to prognosticate like what's going to happen. We're probably I think it's fair to say that we give him another year. The fundraising wasn't there to get him a similar $14 million to the roster from all reporting that it sounds like.
Wasn't there reporting that eventually with once the basketball family started trying to rally support that he actually would have had the money from, I guess, them, maybe not from the boosters?
I think that's so hard to tell, right? Like, that's all one-sided, right? Like, hey, keep me and we're definitely going to get this money. I think at the end of the day, like, you're probably in the same boat that you're in this year, right? I don't see us suddenly jump back up to a 1 seed. Recruiting for next year doesn't look as strong. Like, I mean, Dylan Mingo is not Caleb Wilson. And so, again, I'm in favor of if you know that this isn't going to be the guy in 3 years, pull the plug now. Like, and I think we've seen with the quality of candidates that we're targeting that like this is the preeminent job in college basketball. Yeah. I also think that the chances that like Kentucky's open next offseason is like relatively high. KU might be open this season, like we just don't know. Like there's always a chance that Shire jumps the NBA, and then you're competing with Duke too. Like. I feel like by making this call when they did and kind of being the first blue blood domino to fall, like they're going to have a much better chance, I'm not going to say a guarantee, of getting one of their top picks than if they had waited and been one of 3 or 4 blue blood programs open.
Yeah, that's fair. I think just for me, I would have supported either decision because he's a new coach, no experience. It takes guys a long time. Like I was saying, I was a Wes Miller guy. It took Wes until his 6th year. And I know Greensboro has way different expectations, but it takes a while for guys to really hit their stride. Like, you look at the average, like, how long guys have been coaches by the time they win a national championship. Like, there's not a lot of Kevin Ollies. And obviously Hubert, I mean, kind of was a Kevin Ollie almost there as far as winning a title and where things stand now. Like, it takes some time. So, I don't think he's obviously shown enough. Like, this is probably the right decision. We'll just see, because I'm terrified as hell what these idiots are about to do. Like, I have zero faith in the administration based off of the Belichick hire, the whole botch with the arena right now. I'm terrified. Now, does my fear, should that take over them actually making a move? No, but I'm scared as hell, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you.
So let's get into that. And we're sitting here on Thursday, all right? So the Final Four, not Final Four, Sweet 16 starts today. It's been, 2 days, 36 hours since Hubert got fired. The search is starting. I mean, they're contacting agents, representatives. Inside Carolina, Greg Barnes released a trio of their top choices, which are Dusty May at Michigan, TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State, and Tommy Lloyd at Arizona. All three of those guys are in the Sweet 16. So, I mean, they're going after the big dogs. You also got Billy Donovan, which seems like a top choice, maybe a little bit of a backup option, but still a pretty good choice, who coaches the Chicago Bulls. And then all the names you see, kind of the media put out, and includes guys like, Nate Oates. I don't think they're even going to call Todd Golden. Who else would be on there? I think Mark Byington is a solid backup. I like Grant McCaslin. Dude, I like Ben McCollum. I mean, those are backup options if you miss out on this trio of top dogs. So, I mean, I don't even know, what are they doing right now? Are, they talking to the agents' representatives, obviously? Because they can't talk to the coaches. The coaches are coaching this week. So, talking to the agents. I mean, I'm curious, because you saw a lot of them come out yesterday and talk to the media. Tommy Lloyd was asked about it. Michigan's AD was asked about it. And TJ Otzelberger was asked about it. And so, obviously, they're saying, they're focused on the game. They're happy where they are. They have a really good job. So, I'm just interested, we're kind of just waiting. You're kind of waiting for some of these teams lose. Do they jump on Tommy Lloyd first if he loses, or Dusty May? Or do they wait for Dusty May? Do they wait for Tommy Lloyd? Can they wait till April 7th until these guys lose the national championship game? It's I don't know. I'm just to see how that works. What do y'all think they do? It seems, I just feel like it's gonna be Tommy Lloyd for some reason. He has an $11 million buyout. I would hope they make Dusty May say no. That'd be my number one choice. But super intriguing. I'm so glad we're going after the big dogs. Now, the fear, these guys say no. Another guy says no. Another guy says no. And you get to your third, fourth, fifth choice. But I think there's so many good options out there. All right, what do you think? Julian, Mike, what do y'all think? What do you think happens these next couple days?
Julian,
what's your opinion on these coaches?
Oh, I mean, I have no idea. Now, what I think is happening right now is that, they hired a search firm. You're probably asking what the point of the search firm is. The search firm allows them to have plausible deniability as far as the guys are trying to talk to. And, the search firm will allow them to get in contact with the agent and hide them from, FOIA requests. So that's what they're using that for. They already have their list, as we've seen. The top guys appear to be Tommy Lloyd, Dusty May, TJ Otzelberger. I'm interested to see how it's going to go. I will say, Grant McCaslin, I mean, I got a guy who works in the NIL space now who used to be an assistant under him. He told me flat out, weeks ago, he's not coming. That's a guy who's going to be staying at Texas Tech. And it's the thing. Everybody has money now. We don't have Nike dictating where all these guys are going to go play basketball at anymore. Now, it still happens a little bit, but you better have the money on the other end as well from the NIL perspective. So, does Tommy Lloyd, who's at Arizona, and I get it, they haven't won a title since 97, but Arizona's not a bad program, because you would say they're the third best program out west. I mean, if you just think over the last 30 years, it's Arizona, UCLA, Gonzaga. And he came from Gonzaga. So, to me, yes, Carolina was a better job back before NIL and the portal were a thing, and it would be a no-brainer that an Arizona coach would leave if this job became open. But now, I don't know, you got that thing humming. I'm sure he has plenty of support there in Tucson. So, why would he want to leave Arizona? I get it's Carolina, but Arizona, they love basketball. It's not like he's got to wait in line for football. They suck at football. Yeah, I look at the same thing when it comes Dusty May. Michigan, isn't the Oracle guy bankrolling the athletic department right now? Where's Carolina's Oracle dude to do that? They stole a recruit in football from
NASCAR races.
Yeah, well, and he's not going to give any money because he's too old school. So, for Dusty May, he's an Indiana, he's a Big Ten guy. Why would he leave Michigan? I look at it to me, I would love for Tommy Lloyd to be the guy. I look at his resume, what he's done the last 5 years, and that's what Carolina should be doing. What he's doing at Arizona, I just have a hard time really getting my hopes up because I just don't think it makes any sense for him to move, and I don't think it makes any sense for Dusty May. TJ Otzelberger, buddy, you're coaching at Iowa State. You don't need to deny anything. Come on home to Carolina because that would make sense to me. That's my only thing. I hope it's Lloyd. I'm just not going to believe it's going to be any of May or Lloyd. I mean, Stevens never made any sense. Donovan, I don't really want him. He hasn't coached college basketball for how long? He's not. And I already heard, oh, college athletics is close to being professional sports. No, the fuck it's not. They're two different things. The dipshits in Chapel Hill already made that mistake once with Belichick, which different. No one wanted him anymore. Donovan, I'm sure, is like, yeah, basketball savant, but will it work? I think I have no doubt Lloyd, May, Otzelberger would work in Chapel Hill. Donovan, I would take it, but I'll also have a little bit of like, are we sure?
Are we going to go, is it Otzelberger or Otzelberger? I've never heard Julian's pronunciation.
Until he comes coach, I don't know. Otzelberger, Otzelberger, who cares?
TJ.
TJ.
I think Billy Donovan's the pick where I would be like okay with and like nominally like, yeah, like got a good guy, but would be disappointed, frankly, with the names that are on the list. I think it's interesting. Like, I kind of view it differently, Julian. Like, the reporting I've read, like, TJ Otzelberger, like, Iowa State guy through and through, like, his wife's in the Hall of Fame there. Like, every time he leaves, he comes back, throughout his career. I think it might be tougher to pull him away. I'm ready to have egg on my face. Like, yeah, Ross, we can have producer Connor, like, make up the reels about me thinking it's Lloyd or May in a couple weeks when I'm defending Billy Donovan or Mark Byington or something like that. But I think there's a lot of noise around both Lloyd and May, right? Like, and their responses when they got asked about the question, hey, are you coaching speculation at North Carolina? It was a lot of talk for a non-denial, right? Like, it's a lot of talk for saying like, hey, I'm not going to talk about it. I think like Lloyd might actually leave. I hear your point on Arizona. I get it. But like, if you can coach at one of the 4 preeminent programs in college basketball and be the guy for the next 20 years, which is like, that's what we need to be thinking about like hiring for that kind of longevity. I think you take it, especially knowing Mark Few, who's his mentor, his buddy with Roy Williams.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was gonna say.
You don't want to you never want to follow the guy, right? Like, you never want to be the guy that follows Roy Williams, but you don't mind being the guy that follows Hubert Davis. Like,
yeah,
it's easier than ever to
and
take the resources. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, look, guys, and for everybody out there, like, I want Tommy Lloyd to be the head coach. I want that to happen. I'm just looking at it from like, I'm trying like playing devil's advocate from one standpoint, and also just being like, thinking logically, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, I have a lot of respect for what Arizona's been as a program, because, again, like, my formative years were early 2000s, back when they had Lute Olson as their head coach, and when they had Jason Gardner at point guard, and they had Channing Frye, and they had Luke Olson, or no, what's
Luke Walton.
Luke Wilson. What? Not Wilson. What am I trying to say?
Luke Walton. Luke Walton.
Luke Walton. Like, they had I know. Andre Iguodala, like, they had a bunch of, like, they had talent, man. So, look, he could be the guy there. That's my thing. Like, if I'm Tommy Lloyd, I already got, and I understand the AD situation apparently is not great, but we'll see how that factors in. The AD here in Chapel Hill, who's about to be the AD, Steve Newmark. Does anyone in college athletics know anything about him really, other than, I guess, brokering TV deals? That's one thing. It's like, we don't even really know the measure of that man at this point in time, because we know Bubba Cunningham was respected, except by the board of trustees in Chapel Hill. So, like, I hope it's Lloyd. I really do. But yeah, go ahead, Ross.
Let's reset here. Yeah, so a couple things that I think the Mark Few connection with Tommy Lloyd is huge. Roy and Mark Few are really good friends, and that would, I'm sure Tommy Lloyd and Roy know each other pretty well, because I think they've spent a lot of time together when he was at Gonzaga and Roy was at UNC. Steve Robinson also coached under Lloyd for his first 2 or 3 years in Arizona, so there's that connection there. Obviously, Hubert did not hire Steve Robinson or retain him. I just think I think a big point of this is, how do these coaches think about the UNC job? It's a top 3 job, but it's not as much of the number 1 job as it was 20 years ago or 25 years ago. There's 10 places that, I think people would, 8 to 10 places people would stay at. Maybe Arizona's one of those. Maybe Michigan's one of those. And a lot of it depends on relationship with the athletic director and with the chancellor or president or the administration, or a relationship with boosters who you can count on for money. And I don't know what that looks like at Arizona or Michigan. I think both have a lot of money. I think Michigan has a lot of money. The athletic department's huge. They have a huge undergraduate population. It's a massive department, but football is number one there. It'll always be number one, even though it is the revenue driver at UNC as well. Basketball will always be number one in terms of like athletic department. I don't know how you even phrase it, like priorities, even though football requires more. Arizona, who knows? I mean, I don't think the financial situation there is any better than UNC's. I would think UNC is a much better job. So it depends on what Tommy Lloyd and how Dusty May think about the UNC job versus what their situation is right now. And a lot of that stuff we don't know. I mean, what do you think Tommy Lloyd's wife thinks about Arizona versus living in Chapel Hill? Same with Dusty May. You know,
I've never
like,
been
things
to
like
Tucson.
that matter.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's beautiful.
What makes a good job nowadays in college athletics? I would think that number one, what's your funding going to be?
Yeah.
Like quality
ability
of living
to get players.
Yeah,
like
really proximity.
either regionally,
Proximity
or
to
through
talent,
money,
resources. So
facilities.
I think, all three of these schools, Carolina, Arizona, Michigan, I mean, they have the resources. I mean, we know for sure Michigan has the resources. They have good they have great resources as far as or facilities, proximity to talent. I mean, Arizona. I mean, seems like there's always good players coming out of the state. Obviously, we know here North Carolina, Michigan, that area. So basketball is a little bit different than football, as we know. Like guys will go really anywhere, especially where the money's at. I just think kind of like some of these coaching searches we've seen from these blue bloods across certain sports recently, like Alabama when Nick Saban retired. And I get you don't want to be the guy after the guy, but like, I mean, Dan Lanning's at Oregon. They had never won a national championship. Yeah, he has Phil Knight backing him, but I mean, you don't want to go to Alabama and be the head coach there. People tell me Alabama's number one job in the country, and they landed on Kalen DeBoer, who certainly was not their number one choice. I mean, we saw Kentucky and whatever the situation was them a couple years ago. They didn't get their number one guy. I'm not saying it's going to happen to Carolina. I just don't think it's as like simple that Carolina's a top job because things have changed, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Texas Tech is good.
Schools.
I mean, Texas Tech is good at everything because they have a bunch of money. Like, there's not a Cody Campbell in Chapel Hill, so. Like the McCaslin thing, like that would make sense. He would want the Carolina job, but he's gonna have better support there in Lubbock in all likelihood. And if ever he runs into trouble, wants someone to stroke a check for like $30 million, it's gonna happen like that. It's not gonna happen in Chapel Hill. So that's one of the things. I'm just curious.
Let me argue a couple points on that, right? And I'm just gonna
go ahead.
I'll play devil's advocate to your devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
Kentucky. Different situation, man. They chased off their Hall of Fame coach, right? Like their fan base went livid that Calipari could not have tournaments or was not having tournament success, and they basically formed an online mob and chased him out of there to the point where it was an untenable situation. He jumped into the lifeboat that was Arkansas, and we see that he's still being successful, right? And then they kind of screwed themselves because they were immediately looking for a good candidate that would replace him. Everyone looked at that situation and was just like, that's toxic, right? Like, it'd been toxic publicly in front of everyone that, like, their fan base turned on their coach despite having won a national championship there, right? So, like, not apples to apples in my view. Bama, I think you hit the point. Like, no one wants to be the guy after Saban, right? Like, no one wants to be the guy after Roy. No one wants to be the guy after Saban. Like, there's a lot of pressure immediately. Let's see what Alabama looks like if Kalen DeBoer jumps ship here in a few seasons, right? Because he doesn't want to deal with the pressure. Then I think that's more an analogous, comp because I think there'd be a lot more people interested. Carolina,
do coaches think that way though? Do coaches say, "I don't want to be the guy," or is that just like what fans say to cope? Because I don't think any coach in the world with the egos that they have thinks like, "Oh, I can't go there and win because Saban was there."
I think ego is everything, right? And I think when you're a coach, it's like, what legacy can I leave here? Like, what can I do? Like, how can I cement my legacy here? You can't really do that after Roy Williams, after Nick Saban. You can definitely do that after Hubert Davis. So, like, my pitch and why I'm a little bit more bullish than you are on getting some of these higher profile candidates is the idea that, like, look, you've never had more control over a blue blood than you do now at Carolina, right? Like, you're talking about, like, getting, McCaslin can get a check written whenever he wants. Yeah, like, you could make the argument that Carolina probably could too if they were winning it at that elite level that they had been for a while, right? Like, we didn't get to see Roy Williams really get into the NIL era I wonder what that would have looked like if Roy had gone to boosters. We saw Mac Brown, walk boosters around the block on a leash with getting money, and his programs were constantly underperforming, right?
He also wasn't asking for money because he didn't think those kids should get it until they got here and performed.
Agreed.
Are we sure the old school coach? I mean, that's why these old school coaches have left, because they don't think rightfully so. They believe the kid should actually perform before they get paid.
I'm just saying, my pitch is like, look, you got Tommy Lloyd, you got Dusty May. Carolina basketball is the program, right? It is one of the 3-4 top schools. The pressure right now is the lowest it's ever going to get at a program at this level. There are people that if you come in with a winning record, if you're a guy that has the background, people are going to invest because they want to be good. The idea that if you bring in Tommy Lloyd or Dusty May, that they can bring half their team with them, their recruits that have already signed with the program, and flip the switch overnight is so appealing. It's never really happened before. That, like, I don't think that pressure or the lack of resources or anything like that, like, is going to be a problem. I look at this as an ego play. Like, if I'm Tommy Lloyd, like, yeah, like, I could be the guy at Arizona, and, like, probably, I think Tommy Lloyd is definitely going to win a championship at Arizona if you give him another 10 years there, right? But, like, if I can be Tommy Lloyd, and my name is next to, Dean Smith, Roy Williams, Tommy Lloyd, when it's 2050 and we're recording these podcasts as old dudes, like, that's where I'd want to be. Just my pitch.
So another thing, kind of with that is that you can win at a higher level at UNC, and it's easier to get to the top at UNC. I mean, when's the last time Michigan won a basketball national championship, right? Played for one recently. Arizona, same thing. I mean, they've won
89 is last time Michigan won. They beat Seton Hall.
Yeah. I mean, UNC's gotten to one with Hubert and played in, 4 or 5 with Roy. Bunch of fun. Like,
because they had Roy Williams. It's like,
he's one of a kind.
It's because they had the coach. Like, I hear you. Historically, it's been easier to do it in North Carolina because North Carolina's had
Dean Smith too, right?
Frank McGuire, they had Dean Smith, they had Roy Williams, and so it's a little bit easier when you have like all-time Hall of Fame greats than when you have Juwan Howard as your head coach, or when you have Tommy Amaker. Like, you got to hire the right guys.
The knock on Roy Williams was he couldn't win the big one. He couldn't win the big one.
To UNC,
he gets to Carolina, he wins the big one. The knock on Tommy Lloyd right now is he can't win the big one. So come to Carolina and win the big one.
He can't even get there. I mean, it's been 5
years. They rarely win titles.
It's a weird situation where we're kind of rooting against Tommy Lloyd right now, even though like the biggest knock on him is lack of postseason success. I'd still take him in a heartbeat.
Here's an interesting question. What if Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd win the national championship? Which is very likely. They're both number 1 seeds. Would they leave their school to come to Carolina? Isn't that crazy?
No, I don't think so.
What if Tommy Lloyd's agent is talking right now with UNC? They brokered a deal, and it's all set up. It's like, whenever you lose, you're going to become the UNC coach. And then he wins the national championship, and he bolts the next day. Doesn't even go to the parade. How crazy would that be?
I mean, when Roy came, obviously it was the second time around they had asked, and they had just lost to Syracuse.
Game, right, to Carmelo.
And I think one of his big things was with Kirk Heinrich and Nick Collison. He had told those guys he'd be around, and they were graduating, so it was a lot easier to leave then. That would be interesting. I'm expecting if they're gonna to wait until at least like once the portal's open before a decision gets made, because I expect Arizona and Michigan to both be in the Final Four. And
so that puts it April.
I have Arizona winning national championship, and if that happens, I just don't see how you leave. Because if we talk about legacy, like you're right. You can put your name next to Roy Williams and Dean Smith as one of maybe the next all-time greats. I mean, if you win a national championship at Arizona, if you're Tommy Lloyd, hell, you can start carving your own legacy as being that guy moving forward and being like the premier coach on the West Coast. Since John Wooden, because Wooden won those titles at UCLA. How many guys are winning titles on the West Coast at this point in time? Like Olsen back in '97 Arizona, and then I can't. Is there anyone?
Let's move off. I feel like we've talked a lot about Tommy Lloyd. Let's transition a little bit. All right, timeline here. So it's March 26th. It's Thursday. Sweet 16. Final Four is next weekend. I guess Saturday would be the 4th, and then the national championship game is on the April 6th, which is the Monday. Transfer portal opens April 7th. Mm-hmm. I would think certain coaches lose this weekend. We could hear it midweek next week, early next week, if a certain coach loses this weekend. I wonder if it's a situation like they'll go for either, whoever loses first, or it could be days. You go for your favorite.
There's no rush. Yeah. Because I don't understand. I'm resigned to whoever's going to coach next year. This is not going to be a team that's really going to be any better than what they've been dealing with the last couple of years. I just all the portal work has already been done. Like, that's the thing, like, about if you hire Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan has been in college basketball. Billy Donovan has been tampering with these players the last couple of months. That's why I hated the Belichick hire, among a million other reasons. They weren't in college athletic. Like, yes, at least Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May, like, they can have players they'll bring with them. Doesn't mean all these players are going to come with them to Carolina. There's probably other reasons than just the coaching staff, maybe the money if they went to Michigan or Arizona. But like, we know what typically is the number one thing nowadays. So I'm more so. This is a play for, obviously, get the right guy. This is a play for the next, like, hopefully 10, 15 years. And if they're going to become, like, have a title-type contending team in this kind of era, or, like, be a Final Four contender, that's not going to happen until the 27-28 season.
Yeah.
Like, next year is just going to be about, you have the right guy, let's get the foundation of what they're supposed to be, and then go add to the roster moving forward.
I think the portal, it's open 2 weeks starting April 7th. I mean, I don't think everything's done with the portal. I think there's some tampering, but there's going to be still a lot of coaching changes. There'll be a lot of players floating around. There'll be plenty of role players available. Be able to bring your players from your program, try to retain a player or two. It's going to be a little bit softer, like not as talented of a transfer portal. There hasn't been a lot of action now, so we'll see. And some players will wait for all these openings and see which coaches where, because they want to be at one of these schools. I mean, look, NC State's open now, things like that. So there's a lot of movement. All right, let's. So yeah, we could hear next week maybe, or once the portal opens, April 7th, April 8th, April 9th, kind of once that thing gets going. But the deal's maybe already done. We're just waiting for certain coaches to lose. Let's go quickly on Will Wade. I mean,
oh man,
I can't believe it. I loved his character. My relationship with NC State is that, like, I wanted him to. I thought him at NC State was awesome. It was good drama. It's good entertainment. You know, our friends at the OG are like getting crazy traffic on their podcast. I mean, this is perfect for them. He was so good for that fan base. How he like talks shit about his own players. He talks shit about Carolina and Duke, the Red Reckoning, the picture with Valvano, the military exercises. I mean, for him to leave after 1 year, 366 days from his opening press conference, it's unbelievable, dude. I can't. It is NC State shit at its peak, and I'm loving it. And now fans are just trashing him. I mean, y'all have any thought, like any?
You hire a villain and then you get mad when he does villainy. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you signed up for this guy. Like, you knew exactly who he was. There's no. Don't play dumb now. Don't play like, oh, he's afraid of the grind here in the ACC. Like, no. Like, his goal is to always get back to LSU. You were a stepping stone. You knew it. He knew it. Everyone was in agreement. We all just pretended otherwise.
He was always going to leave. I just can't believe it's for 1 year. I could see 2 years in him out. You know, I got 3-4 years to get back to the SEC or somewhere a little bit bigger than NC State. I just can't believe it's 1 year. I mean, it's like he did was there.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you knew it was a snake when you picked it up with Will Wade. Yeah, the whole LSU thing is interesting because, like, I mean, they don't care at all about basketball.
About football. About basketball.
I mean, like, it's football then baseball. Like, they have the best baseball program in the history of college baseball. Maybe Southern Cal back before when they were good, but whatever. LSU, I mean, come on. So it's just interesting he's going to go there. And that's kind of the whole, like, talk about jobs. Is LSU a better job than NC State? Historically, no. Because I see NC State. I've been in the PNC a couple times, or a little Novo Center, where they want to call it. I see banners up there. I've never been to the PMAC down, and I've never been to Baton Rouge, period. But I mean, do they care about basketball? So that's kind of my point now. He's getting apparently $15 million to put a roster at LSU. Whether they win or lose, I don't think anyone in Baton Rouge is going to care a lick. Obviously, they care in Raleigh, and they weren't out willing to match it, and probably rightfully so, because, like, buddy, you haven't done anything for us to give you the kind of money. And they only gave him like $10 million last year, which is pretty solid for State as far as what their resources are. I think it's pretty sleazy. I have no respect for the guy, but it's LSU. I mean, that's all they do is hire scumbags at this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Like Lane Kiffin, leave him the way he left Ole Miss. Like, I have no respect for him. But, like, LSU does not care. They're trying to win, whether they care about the sport or not. They have that kind of money being in the SEC so they can throw it around, where schools in the ACC don't really have that opportunity to do it, especially a school like NC State. So it's unfortunate for them in a way, but also, like, if they land a guy like Josh Schertz, you get a better coach anyways.
Yeah.
I think they're better off without the guy anyways, because this was going to always be
what's crazy is
lingering over them. Oh, when's Will Wade going to leave?
I just don't think you can act all upset. Like, the guys.
They have a right to be upset because this is. I mean, come on. Like, you're going to leave after 1 year. You can conduct yourself like this.
It's shady and it's slimy, but like, you knew that was the guy when you hired him, right? Like,
yeah.
I didn't think the leopard would eat my face. Like, that's the perfect example. Like, I feel like everyone that wasn't in the NC State bubble saw this coming. I just don't like the overtop reactions about it. Like, I agree, Julian. They're probably in a better spot longer term. They can hire a guy like, Schurz would be a great hire. I think Schurz holds out for like a Big 10, Big 12 job, to be honest. But like, Justin Gay's name has been thrown out. Like, there are other like legitimate candidates I think would do well at NC State. Getting upset and getting like, this is the biggest betrayal in the world. Come on. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, it's just funny him saying like this is gonna be the worst team in NC State, and it's all up from here, and we're gonna hit the portal, and he's gonna get his guys in, and then denying. Shelby Swanson asked the AC tournament was actually at that press conference. Him saying, "I've already talked to Boo Corrigan. We got our plan for next year." Like, God, he said a lot of shit. I wonder when he knew, and I wonder.
Apparently, they had the meeting. They had the meeting on Wednesday where he told them what LSU was going to give him, and he asked him, hey, this is what I'm going to get from them. Can you match that? And they said no.
Yeah.
And once they say no to the finances in this era with that kind of guy, he's going to leave. So, I mean, they kind of did it to themselves by hiring him in the first place, but also saying no to what he believes it's going to take in order to compete in the ACC at the top level. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, State fans, I don't really feel sorry for them, but like, I didn't think highly of Will Wade in the first place. So this certainly makes me feel.
The UNC coaching search, like in parallel with an NC State coaching search, is going to be absurd. And I think it's going to drive a lot of people insane, to be honest.
I'll say this: as long as Carolina's in the ACC, I would really appreciate if the neighborhood has some curb appeal, because. Yeah. We sit here and bitch and moan every year about quad one wins and all Carolina. They don't get into quad one wins and opportunities. Well, you get them when teams like State are actually good. So, like, do I want State to ever be better than Carolina? Obviously not. Do I really want to see them have high-level success? Obviously not. But do I want them to be competent and, like, a tournament team to where it's actually fun when you beat them and not just like, haha, you suck. We beat you by 56 points. Like, awesome. I would rather them – and, like, same thing with Wake. I hate Wake Forest. Hate him since Chris Paul and Strickland, all those dudes. But I want them to be competent because it at least helps Carolina and can get you closer to a 1 seed. Because you look at the seeding in the ACC, while the conference was better this year, I mean, Duke only lost 2 games in the regular season, so they're going to be a 1 seed. But, like, Virginia, they were able to move up to a 3 seed. But everybody else is sitting around 6 and 8 and all of that. It's hard to advance in this tournament if you don't have a top 4 seed, so we need the rest of the neighborhood, including us, to get our shit together so that's possible moving forward. So, yeah, fuck State, all of that, but goddamn, man, Will Wade, what an asshole he is.
Yeah, he was perfect for it. They loved him, man. He was saying the right stuff. It's like the awesome press conferences, like his like critical, the way he was so critical of his team. They just ate it up and for him to leave after 1 year. All right, we got to get out of here. Julian,
real quick, Ross,
Mike.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just for the record, who do you want?
Yeah, I was going to ask
who do you think we get? It's all right. Didn't mean to jump ahead of you, but.
Nah, yeah, it's good. Put everybody on the spot here. I want Dusty May. That'd be my number 1 pick. We haven't talked much about him. I just don't think he leaves. I think we get. I think UNC gets Tommy Lloyd. Okay. Julian.
It's almost as if Ross lived in the shadows of Ann Arbor a couple years ago. He wants the Michigan.
I went to his intro press conference. I was at his press conference. It was awesome.
Yeah, I want Tommy Lloyd. I'm expecting
over Dusty May.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, go look at his 5 years at Arizona. Why? Okay, let's see. 5 years at Arizona.
Dusty May took FAU to a Final Four.
Don't care. Plenty of guys have taken mid-majors to the Final Four. 33-4, 28-7, 27-9, 24-13, and then 34-2. And
never been below Ken Palm number 12 to end the season.
Yeah.
Oh, so now we like Ken Palm. So
hey,
he checks all boxes.
Make sure they help me, dude. What are you talking about?
I don't care about
Ken Palm. Tommy Lloyd can recruit too, man. He recruits studs.
Yes, he can recruit. He worked under Mark Few, all that. I want Tommy Lloyd. I don't think either he or Dusty May are going to leave, and I don't think logically, just from if I take a step back, cover up this logo. Wouldn't make any sense to me, honestly, in today's climate. So I'm expecting Olselberger or Donovan.
I want Lloyd.
Mike.
I want Lloyd. I think we get Donovan.
Okay.
I think what will happen is I think both Michigan and Arizona make it to the Final Four this weekend. I think there's a little bit of panic setting in. They want to go with a guy that they know they can get, and so they go with Donovan. I think Lloyd is probably number 1 for them, and then Dusty May is number 2, and they just make the determination they can't afford to wait.
Yeah. It's going to have to be for them to come to Carolina. It's going to really have to be like they truly just want to be the North Carolina head coach, because I don't think money is going to matter at all, because they're going to be able to match, Michigan can exceed it, just being honest here.
Yeah, and they should extend and extend their contracts there, get raises. I think a lot of coaches could get rich off if UNC doesn't play this right. I think a lot of coaches are going to get rich on this.
Extensions are going to get them.
Yeah.
Buyouts are going to go through the roof.
Yeah,
crazy. All right, guys, really appreciate your time. Good action there. We got Julian's the professional talker, man. I love it. Mike, really appreciate your time. How was the bachelor party? I know Julian went on Mike's. How was it?
I wasn't there.
No, Julian's coming to my wedding. Bachelor party was sick.
You weren't
man.
there? Oh, okay.
No, it's fine.
My bad.
No, bachelor party is sick, man. Bourbon Trail is awesome. Highly recommend. People at Buffalo Trace and Woodford took good care of us, and I definitely enjoyed it too much, but it was a blast.
Sweet. I'm about to head on mine. Golf in here in Elkin, North Carolina. We got a couple big hitters. Spencer's coming down for mine. I invited Spencer last minute. We need another golfer. Dude. So we got Spencer Dog. All right, guys. Really appreciate it. Big hitters only. Rowback.com. Big hitters 20.